Local nonprofit Make the Road Nevada is calling on Congress and the Biden administration to safeguard DACA recipients as the Supreme Court decision regarding the DACA program's future remains uncertain. Local leaders, DACA recipients, and members of Make the Road Nevada just returned from Washington, D.C., where they commemorated the anniversary of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program known as DACA. The federal program provides young undocumented immigrants temporary relief from deportation by providing them with a work permit. Today, the group held a discussion in Las Vegas to call on President Biden to strengthen the program amidst looming legal challenges to DACA.
DACA recipients are not safe, as DACA is very uncertain. The day of tomorrow, DACA can take away a lot of possibilities for people if they lose it. I believe this scope for protection has to go a lot bigger than it currently is.
Meanwhile, President Biden is preparing to announce sweeping executive action that aims to shield some undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens from deportation and allow them to seek citizenship. The policy would apply to people who have been living in the U.S. for 10 years.